Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 5 of Swords. This is a card that is about movement of the mind. Kind of a card that's saying, like, you might be changing your mind right now. Yeah, there's something that we're sort of, there's thoughts that we've been having. This is our first position, the station. This is what we experience when we close our eyes at night. And it might be that we're analyzing something. We're figuring something out. We're asking questions of ourselves. We're asking questions into the abyss, into the void, and we're kind of searching for some answer. Okay? Maybe we want to know, am I doing the right thing? Did I make the right decision? Should I move on? Should I go this way or this way or this way? What should I do? Who am I? Why am I here? It may be that there was something that we were well established in, and now there's a change. See, every time we get a 5, we start looking for the 4. We say, okay, if we're starting to change our mind about something, what are we changing it from? What did we previously believe that now we're starting to think, I don't know if I believe that anymore. What were we committed to before that now we're thinking, I don't know if this is for me. Yeah, sometimes this is just a card that says, I don't know. So let's put it into a little bit of context, and let's see what we might be investigating. There is the 7. 7 of Swords, yes. Okay. We have the Empress. We have, a 9. Yeah, okay. I get, yeah, that makes more sense. 9 of Swords, Ace of Wands, 4 of Swords. I feel like a cycle is ending here. Okay? I think we're getting away from that 9 of Swords. Over here we have the 10 of Swords, Birdcage card, getting out of it. Putting an ending to it, realizing that there's no need to stay here and suffer any longer. Cycle is ending for you, Scorpio. We have a 3 of Swords, a lot of air energy. Oh gosh, a lot of air energy. This is all in the sort of mental realm for you. But we also have clarity. This is what we're looking for. We got questions with the 5. This is the answer we're looking for. And then we've got the Tower. Oh, goodness, yeah. Radical change. A cycle is ending right now, and I think that we're breaking free of some kind of belief or some sort of opinion or a vibe, some sort of energy that has been locking us up. We're busting out of a tower here, okay? And this may feel very difficult. It may be painful and disruptive to your life, but it is infinitely better than staying here. Whatever is outside the birdcage is better than what's inside the birdcage. Okay. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Tiny Bob Ross right on top. We're not going to look at that happy little card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card may be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, let's look around the room. We see 2 major arcana energies. We see the Empress and we see the Tower. In some ways, the Empress is, something inside of you that is saying, well, better the devil I know than the one I don't. right? It's better to just stay here and try to make the best of it, try to nurture this. Maybe we feel there's an obligation to stay somewhere and try to, try to nurse this situation back to health, okay? I think what we're realizing in the mental sphere, your mental energy, is that this is nothing that can be revived. It doesn't matter how much love you give this thing, it's a dry hole, it's a desiccated thing. There's no life left, it's just bones. It's just bones that have been bleached in the sunlight. There's no way to revive that energy. Okay? So we have our two majors. We have a little bit of fire at the top, and this is great. We need the fire. Because this is the initiative. This is the impulse. This is the will to break out of this. That all you need right now is the will to do it. And you can do it. I'm getting goosebumps. The hair on my arms, I don't know if you can see that. The hair on my arms just started getting all, getting them goosebumps. Anyway, the fire is really what we need right now, because that's the will, that's the initiative. And it's basically saying that if you have a will, you will find a way. Okay? We have no water here at all. We can maybe imply some water in the Empress card, because the Empress is in this case, trying to nurse something back to health. And so it's like we're trying to revive something, but there's nothing that can be done for this right now, okay? This cycle is ending. Don't try to revive it. This is over, okay? And I think it's a blessing that it is over, although it is a challenging transition. Yeah. Now you carve something into wood, don't you? Or I don't know if you burn, if you do like the burnishing into wood, or you carve something into wood. I don't know if it's runes or symbols or something. You do like the woodworking stuff. Yeah. We obviously see a lot of air, and we don't have any earth cards. It literally is just a lot of air, really a ton. I've never seen this much air energy. The Seven of Swords, however, is your obstacle. Doubt, self-criticism. Maybe, that we're asking these questions, and as much as we're looking for clarity, maybe we keep running into our own resistance, thinking, no, I can't do better than this. It's scary outside the birdcage. There's too much out there. It's risky outside the birdcage. We're running into our own self-criticism, our own doubts. What we really need for this reading is some other clarifying oracle cards. So let's do a Language of Flowers affirmation card. Maybe we'll do a botanical inspiration card as well. This is a lot of air energy. I don't think I've had a reading with this much air in a long time. Forget me not. Remembrance. Memories and the past hold the key. Memories and the past. The Nine of Swords is in the past. It's kind of like saying, if you forget this is there, you may say, well, you know what, it's not so bad. I can maybe heal this thing. I can make it better. I can make it work. I can breathe some life back into this, right? No, remember how bad it was. This is a relationship. Remember how bad it has been. Because when this fades away a little bit, and we kind of start to forget how bad it was, then we start to think, oh, it's not so bad. I can build it back up. I can revive this. I can save this thing. I can make it can be good again. So that card, Spirit, is telling you not to forget the past. Let this be a reminder to you of how bad this was or is, and how we do not want to go back here. Do not forget this let's not push it back outside the frame of the video camera. Let's keep it here where we can see it. Let's put that over here. Forget me not. Memories and the past hold the key. And I think with the Three of Swords, we have to ask, why do I keep going back to this thing? Maybe this isn't the first time I've been in that Nine of Swords situation, relationship, or, despair kind of, pattern. We're going to do a botanical inspiration card as well, then we'll get back to the tarot cards, all right? Here we have the Venice Mallow, delicate and fleeting beauty. When life is not coming up roses, Look to the weeds and find the beauty hidden within them. Okay? It's not necessarily telling us to look in the weeds and find the beauty, oh, this isn't so bad, not that. But to look in here to find the way through this. By understanding this, by keeping this fresh in our memory, by not forgetting about those weeds, right? We can look into that and we can realize that there's something better on the other side. So that's helping us to get the courage. It's kind of like this curtain of despair. We know we have to go through the curtain. And now that I know how bad it is in the birdcage, I'm very hopeful that I'll find something of sheer pleasure and delight outside the birdcage. Okay? The delicate and fleeting beauty. And it's really, I think, also trying to remind us that even when we're in the deepest despair of a Nine of Swords, there's always something to be hopeful for. There's always the potential to transform that Nine of Swords into a Nine of Cups. Okay? But it's not going to look the same. That's why we don't have any Earth cards. Because it's not going to be the same form. Staying where we are, doing the same thing we've been doing, it's going to still be a Nine of Swords. No matter what you do to it, it's going to continue to be that. So transforming the Nine of Swords into a Nine of Cups requires the Tower. We have to change this. We have to change the outer circumstances. We need radical change. It is abrupt change. Okay? And that's going to be the result of all of this mental energy is going to lead you to that fire. Liberating yourself, freeing yourself from this prison. And I don't know what exactly it is. I don't want to speculate. I feel like that's disrespectful to you if I were to share anything that I might be, any details that I might be sort of feeling about that specifically, okay? But the Seven of Swords is the obstacle that we run into. We start thinking this way, like, I need to get out of here, I can do it, I'm starting to ask questions, why am I staying here? How do I get out? Let me find a plan. We're strategizing, then we run into that wall of self-doubt. And we start to kind of convince ourselves, we start to say, well, maybe it'd be worse out there, outside the birdcage. Maybe I should count my blessings. Maybe I should be okay here. Maybe this is as good as it can get for me. Maybe I belong here. Maybe I deserve that. No. You got to stop thinking that way. Okay? Down beneath the surface, you have the Empress energy. You're somebody that is going to try to save it. You're someone that's going to try to revive this situation. You're going to do everything you can you're going to bend over backwards to make it okay. You're going to try to appease the other person. You're going to try to make up for it. Even if it's not your fault, you're going to try to repair the thing. Spirit's kind of telling you, nope. Hands off. Don't take another step. Let it end. Let the cycle end. I feel like you're someone who forgives others easier than you forgive yourself. But Spirit wants you to know that you've already done everything you could to save this thing. And now Spirit doesn't want you to keep doing that, because every time you give into that, it's draining you. This is a psychic vampire situation. And I don't know if it's a person, if it's a particular belief, or I don't know what it is exactly. We don't see any court cards here. So this is like a mental state. This is mental energy that you've been, dealing with. I don't know what the circumstances actually are, okay? But I know with this Empress, that Spirit is saying, you're the kind of person that's going to want to save it. You're going to want to nurse it back to health. Not this time, okay? This is the time where we have to kind of withhold our action. So here we have an Ace of Wands. This is your willpower. This is your vision. This is where you're giving your energy. And it's, I think, literally saying where there's a will, there's a way. If you have the will to change your life, well, your mind, the logical energy, you'll figure it out. You'll come up with a plan eventually. You got to get past the doubt. You got to get past that instinct to try to rescue this thing or save this thing. Okay? We start to believe with our Seven of Swords that this is a permanent state. Yeah. I feel like you're somebody that tends to know things instinctively. Like you know things and without without being able to explain how you know them. Yeah. As the function of our attention here, our ability to direct our eyes. I can choose what I look at, right? I think that this is the idea, like what we're giving our energy over to, what we're allowing our mind to focus on. Okay, and perhaps your mind has been focusing on why did that happen? How do I fix it? You know, our mind is sort of focused on the past, and yeah, we have the forget-me-not, remembrance, memories, and the past hold the key. But if we linger here, we're doomed. So it's kind of like, let's stop pointing our attention to this. Let's look at that once and say, okay, I'm not going back there. And then we focus our attention on the future. We don't want to take another step back to this, but we need to like reclaim our energy. Maybe the ace here is saying, let's withdraw our attention from this thing. Let's stop giving it our energy. Let's stop feeding into it. Let's stop enabling it. Let's stop giving it our vital energy. Right? If it's a psychic vampire, let's close the tap. Let's cut it off. Okay? It's the occlusion of something, right? That eventually will let it fall away from us. And that might be the return to unity that we need. We need to withdraw our energy into us. Maybe don't take another step in any direction. Pull your energy into you. Occlude that belief or that entity that's attached to you, or that whatever the situation is. Don't give it anymore. Don't feed it. You cut off the energy supply, and it'll go somewhere else. So for now, this is saying don't engage at all. Just don't move. Don't take another step in any direction. Bring your energy back inside, and this thing will kind of take care of itself. And then we can figure out where we're going from here. So the first step, the way forward for you, is a 4, kind of a complete stop. We're not loving, we're not enabling, we're not being of service, we're not trying to nurse it back to health, we're not trying to forgive it, we're not trying to help it, we're not going to fight against it, we're not going to get mad at it, we're not going to yell and scream, we're going to do nothing. And sometimes the complete withholding of your energy is the way to go. Don't give it any attention at all. Even if you give it negative attention, if I yell at you, if I tell you how hurt I am, how upset I am, I'm still giving it attention. No attention at all. This is almost indifference. Pretend it doesn't exist for now. This is a magical circle of protection. Protect your energy in a very practical way. Stop looking at your phone. Stop answering the text. If they text you, don't text back. Don't engage. Shut it down completely for now. Okay? The 4 can be a mental wall. And maybe we need that mental wall right now, especially if we're sort of searching for answers and we're running into our own internal mental resistance. Okay? We can look at this whole thing as a mental pathway. There's something that we keep thinking about that's giving us a lot of pain. And because we're searching for answers, we keep running into problems. Like we know the truth, but we're resistant to admitting it. So the next step is to stop thinking about it for now. Okay, maybe let some time pass. Protect your mental energy. Do deep breathing exercises, mantra, chanting, prayer, meditation. I think the box breathing is very important here in order to calm our energy down. Calm our thoughts down. Slow the thoughts down. There's too many swords here. Too many thoughts. Death by 1,000 cuts. Pull our energy in. That's the very next step for you, not another step. Okay? We've asked enough questions. Now it's time to stop asking and just breathe. Find stillness within yourself. Find a little bit of silence. I feel like you're someone who remembers their first heartbreak. Yeah. You know why Spirit's saying that? Maybe this is a situation that it keeps repeating, but with different characters. It's like you're reading the same story, but there's different characters in the book, you know. And now you went and saw like a psychic or a medium or like a tarot reader in person recently, yeah. Like local to you or something, someone that has a shop or something like this, right? And I think they probably told you that you had some negative entity attached to you, right? Path of the Serpent, let's talk about these cards. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, though, please do. Your general energy is the Ten of Swords. I think we're realizing, in that stillness that we find here, we're realizing that this is a situation that doesn't deserve any more of my energy. It's a situation that I am not going to be growing or benefiting. I'm not being nourished by it in any way. If I rail against it and I get angry with it, I'm draining my energy. If I try to heal it and I try to serve it and nurse it back to health, I'm losing my energy. This is a dry and desiccated situation for you. There's nothing left here for you. There's nothing of value. There is nothing nourishing. It's just we're trying to feed ourselves on rocks and pebbles and dust. And we're not even going to get mad about it. We're just saying, I'm not going to eat that anymore. Okay. Reclaiming that power. And this is the birdcage card. Realizing that what's inside the birdcage is not meant for us anymore. And we don't even have any hard feelings. We're done. This is the end of the road, and there's nothing there. Okay, fine. As much as you tried to make it work, you weren't able to succeed. And it's not your fault, it's no one's fault, it is what it is. But the Three of Swords is saying that we keep repeating the same pattern. This is a card of memory. This is the card of our complexes. Okay. It's the card of a narrative or a pattern or a story that keeps repeating in our lives. And this is in the environment. This is in your relationships. So it's almost like we're asking ourselves, why do I keep getting into situations that feel like this or that end like this? Well, it's not even a different story. It's the same story. Repeating again and again and again. And sometimes this card in the environment is making us feel like there's nothing better out there for us. So then I might as well just stay here because this is as good as I can do. That's the best I can get. Okay, but that again, that's this story, that's the complex repeating itself. Sort of infected with a mind virus here. And the more we engage with that virus, the more the virus will multiply, right? And then it's a system-wide infection. We don't want it to replicate. So we stop, stillness. Okay? Any of the tools that you've learned of how to calm your energy down, how to protect your energy, whether you do smudging, meditation, prayers, you do spell work, whatever it is that you do. Okay, I think it has something to do with you drawing the sigils on the pieces of wood, something like that, yeah. The Ace of Swords is the difficult card here. This is the fear, worry, concern. You know, it sometimes feels like we're afraid of the truth. We know the truth. But so why is the truth? Why is clarity in the position of the obstacle or the anxiety or the fear? Sometimes we know the truth, but we're scared to really admit what's going on here. Maybe we're scared to admit that, hey, I've been inside a birdcage. It's embarrassing. I've been living a life that has been, draining my energy, and that's kind of embarrassing. I feel shame for that. There shouldn't be. If we feel like what we've been doing has been pointless, we feel like, oh gosh, I just wasted the last 6 months or year or 5 years or 10 years of my life. And that feels like regret, right? Oh, I wasted all this. It's not a waste of time. It wasn't a waste of time. You were meant to go through that for some reason. We can choose to believe that. Okay? And it happened for a reason. I was meant to go through that, and here I am on the other side. At least I'm out of it. At least I knew now enough. I know enough to say, I'm done. and I have the will to change things. Now you have a collection of old postcards. So I don't know where you got them, or if they were sent to you, or if you collect something like that. Yeah. The Ace of Swords is kind of like, the answer that we've summoned. We've asked Spirit, like, give me a sign, show me a signal, I need the answer. I think Spirit's been giving you the answer. I think you know the right thing to do here, but we've been resisting it. Because the right thing to do is going to be a very abrupt change. This is a moment of novelty. This is a prison break. This is you escaping from this situation, liberating your will. This is a radical change. It's a moment of novelty. It's an exclamation point. It's a moment in time you'll never forget. In your life now, there's going to be before this, and there's going to be your life after this. This is that pivotal moment where everything changes. Let's look at the mystery card. Maybe this is going to be, well, I would love to see some good water energy. What is the message for us after this radical change? Okay. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. 4 of Cups. The healing process. Okay. Getting to the safe harbor. Letting things settle down. Starting to believe that we deserve more. Okay? The first step after this kind of thing is just to get to safety. Right? First thing after this big storm really is to go and find a place where you can just kind of hunker down and fix the boat, repair the sails, patch the holes, It's stability. It's emotional stability. It's saying this is a pivotal moment. And directly after that Tower event, I'm not looking for celebration. I'm not expecting to be overjoyed. No, I want them to try to be stable. I'm going to try to find a baseline. I'm going to try to heal enough where I feel like, okay, I'm all right. I'm not great. There's no party on the boat. But I'm not in a 9 of Swords. This is the boat sinking. There's so many holes in the boat. Your boat's going down. So this is us now just finding a safe, mental space, emotional stability. Yeah. And then from here, we venture on. We get a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of Cups. First, we have to make it to this kind of safe harbor. And then we figure out what to do next. Okay? The cycle is ending. And I think as it ends, as that tower comes down, we're trying to maintain, we're trying to just be okay, trying to hold ourselves together until the transition is complete. And then from here, it's a new day, and we can figure out what comes next. Now, what we're going to do is an extended reading. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram, we'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner, there is a link down below in the video description. New readings for Scorpio on Mondays and Thursdays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.